Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's an absolute pleasure to meet everyone. Hi, my name is Greta from Indonesia. My country has the largest archipelago where productivity, logistical inequality, and inequity has been a massive issue at a lot of remote area. As we are all designers, I'd like to believe that we are all addicted to coffee. And what I'm about to share today is the story about the best local coffee that I've ever had and the people who's been working on it. So last year, I was invited to visit a secluded village, namely Kampung Bunikasi. I was invited by Doni and Sigit, two individuals that had prior knowledge of the area. With only 35 families, with little to no electricity, they have been surviving self-sufficiently by doing organic agriculture. They have this expanse of coffee plantations that I found as I walked through the village. As I come to realize its tremendous potential, I also realized the gap of logistics and infrastructures that prevents them to cultivate the coffee fruit efficiently. This gap then inspired me to develop a concept of a communal house with a noble objective to bring up productivity on the local product without ruling out its local value. Thus, I proclaim this communal house as Rumah Kopi. So what we are going to do, that we are going to collaborate with the local farmer and local carpenters to build Rumah Kopi on their own. Inspired by the local house, I adopt the local structure and its organization into my design. I do some expansion from a module of a local house by stretching out both floor and roof element, creating such void within the space with the idea of to create a natural interior environment. And this is the whole layout plan. And by following its topography, the whole elevated house is now separated into 3 different levels of mass. And this is the most important one. Regarding the material, the local house is known for its traditional bamboo woven wall. However, it is not as popular as before, as the younger feels it look ancient. So, in hopes of sustaining the local craftsmanship, I designed the new bamboo element into 3 modifications. The first one is the bamboo woven partition. The hollow part which form the pattern will allow the sunlight to enlighten and warm the interior space. And if we set the partition 45 degrees southeast, it will help directing the wind into the greenhouse. And the second one is the rotatable storage made of stacked of cross sections of bamboos and also connected with bamboo door wall. And the last one, this is the space divider, which is constructed by bars of bamboo with an anchor structure to attain its maximum flexibility. While I was observing the local gesture, I conclude that sitting on the floor is the indigenous way of showing their modesty. So I decide to design a furnitureless house by integrating the floor element into sitting pad and working base where levels are growing up from the floor and they are formed to surround the stove. In respect of the local beliefs of not taking nature for granted, this is a low energy building that has an effective airflow with a recycling system, maximum natural light exposure, and I also adopt the traditional heater within the floor slab. So if everything happened as I planned, I believe that this design will continue to sustain them in terms of their social and culture, their environment, and also level up their economic value at the same time. So now I would like to invite you all to walk through into the design. It's 5 in the morning. The rooster crows as we begin the day working on coffee plantations. Blue skies hover above on our way to the communal space. The senior already gathered inside, carefully sorting each coffee fruit. The poor quality will be collected and given to the children, who will then transform it to decorative plants and put it on rotatable storage. Donnie saw this activity as an opportunity to train them because they don't have the access to formal education. Meanwhile, selected coffee fruit will be brought into the barn to undergo cleaning, drying, and roasting process. As lunchtime passes, the preparations continue at the pantry. We begin weighing the raw coffee bean, putting them into baskets to be cooked the traditional way. And with one foot resting upon a concrete block, we begin stirring the raw coffee bean with a large spatula. And look at that white smoke. It signals a completion of the roasting process, and the roasted bean can now be set aside on the floor steps. While waiting for it to cool down, the locals sit on the floor, chatting while listening to the workshop being hosted by Donnie and Sigit. Once the beans are ready, the women then grind it down into coffee powder with their mortar and pestles. The coffee is now ready to be packaged, and let's turn our attention to the large hole under the table. The hole is ergonomically designed to support the sitting position of the locals who would have to work on this process for a long period of time. The processing of coffee beans is complete. The locals now enjoy their evening working on bamboo woven. And as the sun sets upon them, Donnie and Sigit head to the kitchen. Resolving the existing problem, the open roof structure and the rotatable partitions are designed to support the cross ventilation. As they are going to end the day, bonfire filling the communal space with a family-like warmth, as the people has discussions over cups of coffee. It is all finally the dream of Donnie and Sigit to dwell into Kampung Bumi Kasih, to lay down on the modesty of local texture, and to be rested on the sound of nature. And if you're looking at the bigger picture, the combination of local material and sustainable material will elevate bamboo, putting them on a higher level. This project is also in line with the vision of Indonesian government, who is lately been encouraging local products to strive by doing community empowerment. I believe it is our responsibility as designers to take part on it. More than just building facilities, Rumah Kopi is happen to be an investment, a forward step, a milestone on developing over 74,000 villages in our country for a sustainable future. I believe from now on, they will be excellent developing their own farming product. Every now and then, every single sip of coffee reminds me the subtlety of tradition, the blood and sweat, the passion and sincerity of our coffee farmers that has been put into what we consider just a morning routine. Thank you.
Judges, do you have any questions? Yes, Michael?
Um, Good morning, Greta.
Hello, good
I just
morning,
I
Josh.
just want to thank you for taking me to a journey of appreciating the humble coffee bean. Thank you for taking me to a journey to a place that I wish I am there right now. And with this storytelling and narrative, I can almost hear the sound of roasting coffee. I can almost smell the beans being cooked in that rotating machine you saw.
It's my
I
pleasure. Thank
just
you.
thankful, Greta, that I'm today and I witnessed your and there's nothing else I would like to add or to remove in your presentation as I felt your passion, I felt your commitment, I felt your dedication to this project. And I commend you for that. Thank you, Greta.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Michael. Anyone else? Horace, please. Press spacebar. Yep.
Uh, yes, I have to show my face because I got some problem with our background screen. So sorry, everyone. I actually also like to congratulate you on the very successful presentation.
Thank you,
But
sir.
I got a problem or question for you. Because I think that the projects actually start from making use of existing village houses, right?
Yes.
So it's basically some sort of existing structures that you made it, and then adaptive reuse that you've done, and then adding on some sort of new structures or new layers like screens, like the steps that you mentioned, and also even the roof opening. It's like a new kind of adding a new layers into the existing thing, so that you want to improve the I would say the performance or perhaps the experience of working in the village or producing coffee beans thing, right? So
Yes.
my question is, how much effort that you think in this project being saved if we're not doing this whole thing, that the people there can still perform and produce very good production? Because I can also see some reference image in your PowerPoint, the left hand side, that you showed existing situation of the houses that even if you don't have this design, so people can still do probably similar process, right? They can still do everything, probably similarly. So what's the value of your interior design, so-called, to create new values for the whole process, apart from the beautiful screens that make use of the cross section of the bamboo thing? Well, I can see a lot of beautiful renderings, in your presentation. That is, it seems to me like a backdrop of the space now. It's like very beautifully done envelope. So, so I just want to know that if you can tell us strongly that yes, my project, we have to do this new intervention into it, and how much effort, what's the percentage of the changes that you've made? So I would like you to kind of convince us again.
So basically, the idea of making this communal house is because in in the situation there, they have this kind of habit of not knowing when and how to do the process properly, and actually they usually do it in an open space. So before we begin this project, they cannot have a standard coffee product to be sent into the market. So by designing this, I hope that they will learn how to manage, how to develop their own resources, because that was the problem on most of remote area in our country. They have the potential, they have the resource, but they don't know how to do it regularly. So by doing and giving this infrastructure, I hope that it will build the legacy to work on such habit.
Got it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I got it.
I,
Thanks.
can I add on to it?
Yes, please, Kian.
Yeah, hi Greta. I think
Hi.
it's a very good scheme, but I think I'm not sure whether I missed out on your presentation or you have not covered this. I think there's a slight missed opportunity because by revamping this, there's a reason why you're doing this, right? So I didn't catch the part where I think if you have missed it out, then it would have been a missed opportunity, which is another layer of ritual, which are the visitors from outside. How do this group of people integrate with the people working in the interior?
Sorry, I a little bit missing the question. Can you please repeat?
So what I'm saying is that you're creating this for a purpose, right?
Yeah.
You're not trying to make the life of these villagers better by just creating this, you know, a better environment, better things to look at, better aesthetic, better interior. You are creating this also for another layer of visitors, right? Another group of people coming to interact with these indigenous, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that part, I'm not sure whether I missed out or not. I think it's not being emphasized on how do the visitor interact with the villagers or the workers.
Oh, so yes, basically on this project, this is a long project. So for this space, we are not making these facilities to accommodate the visitors. So it will only cover the needs of the locals, which will be concentrated on how to educate the young people there, because they also didn't have the access to formal education. So this house can actually be a facilities to train their skills, their informal skills. So I think this project is will be only concerning about the locals. The visitors maybe will be accommodated in another chapter of the project.
Okay, I think you have explained your point. So I think also you are in which year of your university now?
Last year, I think. Yeah.
Final year, right? So I think in reality, project like this, either is a philanthropy project whereby somebody is pumping in the money and not asking for return. But in reality, I think if you were to integrate, another part of income for this group of villagers, that would have been turning this both into a production house as well as a kind of live museum. So I think that would be for your thinking if you want to develop this project further. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Anyone else have any more comments or questions? If that's it, then that would be it, yeah? Final call, any questions or comments? All right, thank you so much for your time, Greta.
Thank you.
You may log out now.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.